All right, we have the pleasure right now of introducing to you all Miss Stormy. How do you pronounce your last name? Rodham?
It's Ramden.
It's Brendan. Okay. And she is the author of the book. What is it entitled?
My Life with the Night.
My Life with the Night. Now, my first question about that book, once again, has got to be the cover. I think the cover is one of the best covers I've ever seen on a book. How did that come about?
Well, I had a total glam squad, and they were all personal friends, and we just all pulled together and put our resources together and our creativity, and that's how it came about. So we shot the cover in the old Hollywood Tower Hotel in this real classic Hollywood. That's the look that I was going for, and the dress was made by Herb Legger. So it was just a great event. I mean, it's a great day.
Beautiful.
That's how it all came together. And we wanted it to be a powerful image on the cover.
It was. It was a very powerful image on the cover. And you don't come off as, somebody who's scorned or somebody who's hurt or what have we. And to me, that was pleasant. The first time I actually got wind of the book, you were on actually TMZ, come to think of it. And they were asking you questions about the book. They heard it coming out. And you talked to the TMZ reporter. One of the things in the book that really caught my eye, and I never heard this from anybody, and I've read maybe 9, maybe 10 books of that whole era, but I've never heard anybody say this before. You made the statement that Marion Suge Knight didn't change Tupac, but Tupac changed Marion Suge Knight. Could you elaborate?
Yeah, and I mean that in the sense that if anybody knew Suge prior to Pop coming to Death Row, Suge was a really private person in regards to his image. Now, how he conducted business, that's totally different, but who he was and his image, he didn't take pictures, he didn't get into videos, he was just straight business. And then when Pop came around, Pop, in my opinion, sort of hyped him up, fed into his ego, and it just kind of brought something out of Suge that wasn't there. What was probably there, but was just not at the surface yet. You know what I mean?
Right. That is to me, that is like very intriguing. And I can see how that happened. Do you think maybe bringing in some of the BLA Black Liberation stuff may have affected his judgment? Pac bringing it to Suge.
Affected Suge's judgment? No, I just think Suge started having fun. You know, at first Suge didn't really have a lot of fun. He worked. It was all business. Death Row was his baby. He took a lot of pride in his in the work that he did and the work that was coming out of it. So he had a lot of high expectations on his artist. So I think when Pop came around, it kind of gave him that relief. He knew that he had a hard worker on his hand, but he also knew that he was going to have fun with this guy too, because Pac was a lot of fun. And he saw Pac more as an equal than his other artists. Wow.
Now that's a powerful statement too. He saw Pac as an equal to him?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now that is heavy within itself. I heard Michael Harris say something that intrigued me. He talked about he had given David Kenner money to help with that. I don't know if it's true or not, but this is what he said. He said he talked to Suge on the phone at the studios, and Suge told him that he didn't need nobody but Pac. He didn't care about any other artist. All he needed was Pac. How true do you think that is?
I mean, I can't say it's 100% factual, but I won't say that it's not factual because of Pac's work ethic. Suge believed in that man, and Pac gave him a reason to believe in him. You know what I mean? Pac would pump out 5 to 6 songs a day, and nobody else on the label was able to keep up with that sort of work ethic, And Pac and Suge's goals were sort of aligned, where they both wanted success. They wanted to get a lot of things out the way, and that's why Pac recorded so much music in advance, because he had other plans. He didn't have plans to leave Death Row. He had plans to do a production company. They wanted to go into films because they felt like films had way more money, and they didn't have to put in as much work for a record at that time. Records are produced way more easier nowadays than they were before.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, those kind of songs, I've heard a lot about his his work ethic. But where do you think all of this came to a head and went wrong? Pac, Suge, Dre. What do you think happened? Do you think it was Pac and Dre, or just Suge got tired of Dre? What happened in that circle?
Well, I really can't say what happened. I can only just give you what I think, and from what I think, because it's been 20 years, but it's because that's a really fine topic right there. But what I'll say this, Pac felt like the credit wasn't given to the right people, and I think that's why he probably had an issue with Dre. And for whatever reason, he didn't like that man. It sort of crossed over with Suge as well, because how Pac felt is kind of like how Suge felt. They kind of inherited each other's beefs and how they felt about people.
Wow,
they really were like brothers.
They really were like brothers. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So I just think that, and this is nothing against Pac. He just was very sure of himself and what he was capable of producing and the music that he was putting out. He just felt like he was, I really hate to say it this way, but he felt like he was better than a lot of the people at the artists at that time.
Well, they said, quite a few of them said that he felt like that, but he always gave props to them, the numbers that they did. He always gave props to them.
He did, but he was his own team. He really didn't need any of them. You know what I mean? He came on as an extra addition. He didn't want to be part of anyone else's brand, Dog Pound, or whatever. He was his own. That's why he had brought his own outlaw. That's why he brought his own production team. He had his own vision for whatever he was doing.
How do you think this whole thing affected you and Suge's relationship?
Well, when Pac came around, Suge wasn't around at home so much. That's what happened.
Wow.
So yeah, I was a little disgruntled about it. I had knew Pac before Suge had met him, so we didn't. It was no bad beef or anything with that. We have mutual friends from LA. But I was just more like, God, I'm young and I'm pregnant and my guy is never around. He's running around with Tupac. He got to be with Tupac because Tupac needs all the attention and Tupac was very demanding. He required a lot of attention, a lot of Suge's attention. And Suge felt responsible for him and felt like he needed to be there with him a lot.
Now, are you a part of music? Do you sing, or were you interested in music or anything?
Never been interested. I don't have no talent in regards to being musically inclined, and that's not even the case. I'm more artistic as far as creative-wise. But no, I've never been interested in music. That's
interesting within itself, saying some of the things that was going on with Death Row. So you wasn't even involved in that, you wouldn't be in the music industry, period. That is...
Yeah. Wow. I was like Suge's personal A&R. He would bring home whoever's music, and I'll listen to it, and we'll critique it together, and that's pretty much what I dealt with the music. So he didn't really want me around his artists. Suge's private, personal life is very separate from his record company and his artists. Once we established our relationship, I sort of cut ties with hanging out with the artists.
Okay. So then, what do you think about what all the other people write about, that, they try and dehumanize everybody that's associated with, and so much come up with the mob Piru and all of that stuff. How much do you think that mob Piru played into Death Row Records? I ain't talking about them just being around the record company working as, Suge's security. Was the record company, you think, trying to really come off as a record company ran by a mob Piru gang, or that's just something the media hyped up?
That's something the media hyped up. I've never heard of that. Suge had way too much pride about his business. How he would definitely say my business. But No, he felt obligated to give back and reach back into his community. So therefore, he reached back into the people that was closest to him, and that happened to be some of the blood gang members or whoever they want to be labeled as.
But
I never
but
be
but,
able to
but so many of them died, and they fought him for it.
Well, that's gang culture.
But as I was saying,
You can't fault one man for gang culture.
but is he a part of? They fought him for all of it. I was just listening to an interview that Mob James did, and he fought him for everybody. He said because of Suge, we lost 11 to 15 guys, and
I
Suge.
don't know anything about what happened with them in the streets or whatever. If I just know if you I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. It's very unfortunate that a lot of people died. They were friends. You know what I mean? Bunch
Right.
was a good friend. Heron was a good friend. You know what I mean? I never viewed them as blood gang members. These were sure real friends. You know what I mean? And that he employed and gave jobs to.
So why do you think like now that
after Jake?
right. Right. Why do you think so many people, like while he's down right now, out of all these people that he helped made millionaires, deals that are being cut right now with black entrepreneurs in music would not have been done if it had not been for Marion Suge Knight, and won't nobody step to the plate and help him? Why do you think that is?
Well, the music industry is a really small community. So when Suge pissed off a few of the higher executives up in the industry, he sort of blacklisted himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And nobody wanted to touch him, and they probably felt like And then at this point in time, Suge was very disgruntled. He felt betrayed. He felt like he didn't have no friends. He and I even fell out. But he was in a bad. When I say that, he was in a bad place in life. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he just felt very, he just wasn't in a good place. And so he probably didn't make some of the best decisions, and he probably acted out on some of them emotions that he was feeling. And and he did. I mean, I'm not saying he's totally innocent, but there's always an action for his reaction. You know what I mean? So there's something that it's two sides to the story. You get what I mean? And
Right.
This man's betrayed by whatever, and he acted on it, or he said something about you, or whatever. Everyone is a victim, but they don't want to say what their part was in it. You know what I mean?
Who does he feel actually really betrayed him?
He felt like everybody did. When he went to jail, he there was the artist. The artist didn't know if they was going to stay on the record label. They didn't know what they was going to do. They didn't understand that where Suge was in the hole, and he wasn't able to sign nobody's checks. It wasn't just the artist that had got affected, and it wasn't like Suge was keeping anyone's money. That wasn't the case. He just couldn't conduct business from behind the bars, and people failed to realize that man was in the county jail for like a year and a half before he was sent to prison.
Right.
And he did the county jail in the hole. So I don't know. I don't know. But that's what it is. So when people put themselves in a position, and if you sitting up in the jail and you was once in a penthouse and running your company and now you can't do shit, how would you feel? You ain't gonna be so nice either.
Right. But the fact that he felt like people let him down, did he feel like in September the 7th that he was let down by anybody when Pac got shot the night in Vegas?
He didn't talk in no detail about that. He didn't say anything about that in detail. I just remember seeing him in Vegas shortly after it happened, and he looked very hurt.
I can imagine. Yeah, definitely.
He really wasn't. He wasn't. He didn't have a lot to say. He just was hurt, and he had like a lost look on his face. Like he just was like he lost. He just felt like he lost everything. Like
that's what I was going to say. It seems like that they were never able to really get it back together from that point. From that point, that's when things started to happen. How do you feel about? They brought Orlando Anderson to testify that Suge didn't kick him, and trust me, I've watched that videotape so many times I'm going to go blind, and I still can't see where Suge Knight ever kicked Orlando Anderson. I've ran it in the slowest motion you possibly can, but nevertheless,
Suge was guilty of just being around. They violated his parole just because he was around a fight.
because he was Jesus.
And he did 9 years. He did 7.5 years of that 9-year sentence, and then he violated his parole after he got out of jail and did 2 more years.
But they never arrested nobody else. People who you can clearly say that was actually doing something, and that's what always confused me. And so, how would they expect him to run a company? He just did 7.5 years in jail. That's just it don't make any sense. Wasn't one of the conditions of the bail that you have nothing to do with the company?
Well, once you're incarcerated, you can't conduct business.
That's what I thought. So you figured the artist would understand that.
Well, at the time, I think a lot of us probably didn't really understand that.
Oh, okay. Well, I understand now, but
I don't really like to go into specifics about things, but I remember having a conversation with Snoop during that time, and Snoop had relayed to me that he wasn't getting his money, and I told him, I was like, I'm not trying to compare my situation to yours, but I was like, bro, I ain't even got my money. I ain't even got my money yet. You know what I mean?
right.
And it's just a tough time, and he was just like saying like, Storm, I got a family, I got my mortgage, I got shit to take care of, and I understood that, so I understood exactly where he was coming from because he hadn't received his money in a few months, and that's what prompted him to leave death row. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't say everything, but that's what I got from that conversation, and I understood why he did that. But that's not for everybody to understand because it's a private situation. You know what I mean?
Right. And he eventually said that he chopped it up with Suge and they was on good terms. So I was really glad about that. He talked about they met and they chopped up what they had and they was on good terms. He said he appreciated everything that Suge had done for him, and helped him to get to where he was. I thought that was cool because I haven't heard anybody else say those words.
Yeah, I was actually happy to hear that too.
Yeah, I haven't heard nobody else say those words.
And when Snoop was going through what he was going through with his trial, I mean, Suge was there every day. You would have thought that was Suge's son. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that was something.
It was more than just his artist, him being there for his artist. He really, I mean, verbatim, he said he did not want that boy to go to jail.
Wow, and he fought. Well, that was good.
He did not want him to go to jail.
How can we get this book?
The book is available through Amazon, or you can email me, and I can send them out to you. I am taking pre-order orders for them. But yeah, my email is bookingstormy@gmail.com.
Bookingstorming@gmail.com.
Bookingstormy@gmail.com, or you can go directly to Amazon, and you could be able to order it there, or even to a third party.
No problem. So we can order it on Amazon. Last but not least, how is Suge Knight Jr. doing with his debut of WAPO 2?
They just did the video, so he's dropping the video probably next week due to unfortunate circumstances in the Knight family. We lost
Right.
Mom, so
My condolences.
yeah, thank you. He's going to put it out after next week. But yeah, he's doing really well. We're proud of him. We did give him a hard time. We did not want him to be in the music industry. We wanted him to focus on computer science. But he feels like he's really passionate about his music, and he has our support 100%.
Well, the album definitely has a good sound. That's for sure. It does have a good sound.
He convinced us. At first, I was like, nah, my son, no, because I knew that there's going to be a lot more that come with it. You know what I mean? And
right.
But I think he's able to handle himself. He's pretty bright, and he knows what he's doing.
I guess when I look at it like if Tracy Ross fought as hard as she did to establish her own identity, and I know that must have been extremely hard but now she's her own person and no longer lives up under her mom, Diana Ross, I think he
Uh-huh.
can too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think he's already done that.
Yep. Yep. He has a great sound, great studio. I watched some of it on IG and heard one of the songs on I think it was Apple iTunes. Well, look, I
Oh, yeah.
appreciate the insight, and once again, give them the email address where they can order your book.
So it's bookingstormy@gmail.com.
bookingstormy@gmail.com. And the book
Mm-hmm.
will
Or
be
you
how
can go
much?
to Amazon. The book is $20.
$20. Okay, shipping and handling fee or just $20?
Shipping and handling will be extra, so that's about $6. So $25, $26.
Okay, well, yeah, you need to know because they're going to get it. I highly recommend it because it's one of the first books that I've ever read that was like non-biased. It was very truthful, but nevertheless, it wasn't from a biased point of view. It had a beautiful feminine touch and really explains things just the way you did tonight. And I want to thank you for this interview.
You're so very welcome. I appreciate you for your kind words and your acknowledgement of my book and how you read it. That's exactly how I meant it to be read, and for it to and how I wanted people to take it, because I'm a very unbiased person, and I always feel like the truth will always come to light.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.